help him, and he has a 2-year-old son who is being impacted by this with sleep in his bed, and just really scary stuff. And I went to check it out, thinking that maybe me and several members from my group who are psychic mediums could possibly help. And I got there, and I just realized this is way over my head. And so I messaged Michael, and I said, hey, can you come in here and help? And so he sent his guides in and cleared the house. And, one of them was a very dark entity, which I'm not saying it was demonic because I don't think it was, but it was something else. It wasn't human. It was something different. And it was controlling the other ghosts in the house. It was crazy. The activity just stopped, after he was there. And the guy, Tony, that lived there said the same thing. He heard the same thing I heard when the guides came in. And he said it was, like an hour, 2 hours maybe. And then it quieted down, and there was no more activity. The house has been completely quiet. So I'm just astounded that people like this truly exist. And, he doesn't get paid for anything he does. He does this all of the goodness of his heart, and he wants to help. And I want to honor him by writing a book about his experiences.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
We're getting quiet again.
Yeah, what would you call that? Is that what you asked her? How do you come up with the names for your books, Joni?
Usually they just come to me. Soul Collector was easy because the entity that attached to me was a soul collector. Bones in the Basement I named it after one of the stories in the book. The owner was overcome by an entity in the house, took her over and sent her down in the basement to dig in an old kiln and find human remains. She found old bones in the kiln. So this and Devil's Toy Box, it's just such a cool name. It comes after the quest, of investigating equipment that I was researching for an article I was writing, and I thought that was really a cool name, and it kind of described my situation when I was living in that house. I was trapped in Devil's Toy Box for 11 years. So that's how that came about. But I have no idea what I'm going to name this next one. I've been thinking about names. But I have to, Michael has to agree on it too. So it's going to be something that we're going to decide together. But still kicking around a few ideas.
No, I thought that was a very cool name, the Devil's Toy Box. I thought that was very cool. And I wondered...
That's a very clever name.
What's that?
What?
That was a very clever name, I think.
Yeah.
Devil's Toy Box.
Yeah.
That's something that'll stand out.
It's
very
kind of
cool.
a funny story because I write for Ghost Diaries, which is a paranormal website, and I write articles for them. And I was researching Devil's Toy Box because I think it's a cool idea. And I reached out on Facebook and said, does anybody know somebody that has a Devil's Toy Box? And one of my friends who's an investigator said, yeah, there's a guy on my team named Tom who has one. And so he came to one of my classes and loaned it to me. So I still have it. And we tested it out at a haunted location we went to, and we got some EVPs from inside of it. I don't know that we actually trapped anything, but something did go inside that box, to answer our questions. So, so it's just fascinating. I love anything new and unexplored that I can research and learn about, test out.
Oh, yeah. Do you read all your book reviews, Joni, or do you respond to them, good or bad, or have any advice on how to deal with with the bad ones, or any marketing advice or anything like that for wannabe writers?
I do. I read every review. In fact, I stalk Amazon.com. If you leave me a review, I'll know it within an hour. So I respond to them if I know them, and then they're on Facebook. I'll post a review and thank them for posting it. I've gotten a few negative ones. When you deal with paranormal books, you're always going to get the naysayers and the critics. And, somebody gave me a low review on Bones in the Basement because they didn't like how the owners handled the haunting. And it's like, that's not my fault.
No.
It's like truly shooting the messenger. So, you do get a few like that, or they think they watch too much paranormal TV and they say, this is not scary, this isn't scary. And it's like, yeah, you try living through it. Let me, then let me write your review. So, you deal with a lot as a writer, and you just kind of have to let it go and not let it affect you. I know my books are good, and they're well received, and most people like them, and I'll continue to write them. So, new writers, you just have to develop a thick skin and try not to let it get to you. Know your own self-worth and hold on to it, because nobody can tear you down unless you let them.
Yeah. I've gotten one bad review that I had deleted, and I typically won't delete any review, trust me, especially if it's bad, but the only reason why I deleted that particular review, I had it deleted, was because the whole rant in his review was based on not my book at all. And I actually had to comment back to him. I was like, dude, have you even read my book? Have you even considered reading it? Because everything you just mentioned is not in my book.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. And that was clearly a troll or someone who actually couldn't possibly have read your book.
If someone read my book and genuinely did not like it for whatever reason, and they gave me a bad review, but their whole review was based on my book, and I can read it and know for a fact that they've read it, fine. I accept the honest criticism. I will do what I can to improve that. However, I mean, he was talking about crap that wasn't even in there. He even said this was one of his parts on it. He said, Jay, what's up with the Christmas book cover? And I said, dude, what do you mean? That's an old abandoned church, man. You know what I mean?
It's a weirdo. I mean, people, you just never know, and that's why I asked Joni about her critics and, how she deals with it, because, there's always going to be trolls and there's always going to be haters, and I think that was really good advice for people that might be new writers, and, I think it's great that you reach out to people and you thank them, because I think people do really appreciate that, and it's hard to take the time to do that to every single person that's going to respond. But you want to reach out to your fans and love them, that's for sure. But yeah, you can't take every single review, and if it's a negative review, you certainly can't take every one of them to heart, and it would be extremely difficult not to take it personally, let's face it, because it is personal. Writing is, and I've written things in the past, writing is very personal. It is like birthing a baby. It kind of is. It's creational.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
Especially if they're talking about an experience that you lived through that was horrific and you feel like you barely survived it, for somebody to tell you that's not scary, it really pissed me off, I'll be honest. It's like, you didn't live through this, and, I'm sorry this is not Paranormal Witness, but, this was real. And there's a lot of books on there. If you go into Amazon, there's some of the true paranormal books. I've read a lot of them, and they are so exaggerated, and it makes it harder when you're honest and you tell the truth and you don't exaggerate, and you go up against these books. People come back and they say, well, this is not nearly as, scary as this book. And it's like, well, yeah, because this one really happened.
Right.
So, but, I think it's scary enough. Most people found it to be, all three of my books, my paranormal books, to be hard to read right before bedtime. So I gave people a lot of nightmares.
So, Joni, what do you do for marketing for your books? Anything special?
I really, that's where I probably need the most help. I've published it. I've posted on Facebook quite a bit. I teach my Paranormal 101 classes, and I write, for Ghost Diaries, and they have a link to my book and all those posts. And I have paranormal events periodically, and I invite people to them, and, I have books there for sale, and just getting the word out. I think, as a self-published author, you have to be, you have to publicize yourself.
Oh, it's harder.
Which,
of course,
it means
it's much
handing
harder.
out business cards and talking about your books in times when, when you're meeting people, and getting the word out and trying to get other people that have read them and enjoyed them, to have them talk to other people as well and tell them how much they enjoyed the book. So it just gets the word out.
And you haven't considered hiring a publicist, maybe? Yeah.
Well, the market's flooded right now with self-published authors. So you're getting a culture going on Amazon where a lot of people are giving away free books, and people are downloading all the free books, and they're not necessarily buying the ones that are worth reading. They're taking the free stuff, and so I think that'll fade after a while because who can afford to just write books and give them away for free? It's not profitable.
Especially when you have to pay for them to be published.
Yeah. It depends on how you do it, but that could definitely be an issue. So you end up, if you spend money on marketing, you end up, taking that out of the nothing you've made by giving your book away for free.
Sure.
So, I don't give mine away for free. I think that they stand on their own, and if people want to read them, they will. And my books have been, pretty consistently in the top 10 in their genre on Amazon. The true paranormals. At one point, I had 2 of them in the top 10 at one time, so that was kind of cool.
That's incredible, Joni. That's great. Congratulations.
Excellent. We're almost out of time, Joni, and I want to make sure that everybody gets all your information out, where they can find your books, where they can chat with you, what your bra size are, everything. I want everything out in the open.
All of it. All of it. What kind of vibrator she uses, all of it.
You can find my books on Amazon.com or BarnesandNobles.com. They're for Kindle and Nook, and also paperbacks. I have a website, JoniMahan.com. That's JoniMayhan.com, and I have some behind-the-scenes stories and investigation pictures and whatnot on my website, and it has a link to my blog, which is justjoniblog.com. People can friend me on Facebook as long as they don't get creepy. I accept most friend requests. Well, you know what I mean. You immediately get a message that says, "Hey, baby."
Hey, girl. Hey, hi.
Yeah. So that's that's where they can find me. If they live near me in Massachusetts, they can come to my Paranormal 101 classes. So.
Excellent. And obviously, if anyone wants to contact me, you can look me up on Facebook, Jason Stanton. You can also go to authorjasonstanton.com, and you can find me there. You can look up the Ghost Chat Radio fan page. I've got the Facebook fan page as well. That's Author Jason Stanton. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. Just look up Ghost Chat Radio. You'll find me all over the place. And definitely this weekend, everybody, Small Ethan and Carmel. It's going to be a fantastic book signing. Me and Joni's going to be tag teaming and selling books. You're going to have some great food at an affordable price. It's going to be a wonderful time. You're 20 minutes from Connecticut, about an hour and a half from Jersey, another hour and a half from Pennsylvania. You're literally pretty much everywhere, and you're right smack in New York. So if you live within Connecticut, Jersey, or PA, you should have no fucking problems at all getting there. Or even Massachusetts, because you're not that far from Massachusetts
Sounds
either.
Great. Sounds great.
We're going to have fun. It's going to be great.
Don't miss it.
No doubt.
Don't miss it, you guys. And if you guys have social media, I'm pretty much everywhere. You can find me on Plus, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook under my real name, Jody Smith. Jody's Jodie, the Paranormal Diva. Also under Joe Haunts on Twitter, JoHaunts. But if you look it up, it'll say Jody the Diva Smith. Please stop by and like me on Facebook on my page, The Paranormal Diva. And you do not want to miss next week's show. We've got the guys from Ghost Asylum, Chris Smith and Scott Porter, coming on the show. So I think it's going to be a great show. Very excited to have these guys on. They haven't been on the show before, so that's a new guest for us. So make sure you tune in right here on D.T.M. Wicked Radio for that.
Excellent. And Joni, I can't wait to see you next week or this weekend.
I know. I'm excited. And thank you for having me on the show tonight. This was a lot of fun, as always.
As always. I always try to have fun. You know the way I do it.
I do.
All right. right, everyone. Until next week, I will check you all out later.
All right. Good night, everybody.